West Ascension Consolidated Drainage District is called to order for September the 7th, 2017. If you don't mind standing for invocation. Bow me. Dear Lord, bless everyone here today to make the right decision for this great parish and for this great district. Oh Lord, bless this great country, and dear Lord, bless everyone in harm's way with the hurricane going to the Florida and all the victims of the hurricane from Texas. Dear Lord, we have them in our prayers and look after them, oh Lord. Oh Lord, once again, bless the armed forces servicemen who protect us and give us the freedom that we have today. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Ms. Peggy, roll call. Look like everybody here, so we ain't got no problem with that. Accepting the minutes of August 3rd, 2007. Go move. Second. Any objection? No objection. Minutes are accepted. All right. Item number 4 is the agreement with West Ascension Drainage in the City of Downsonville. Me and Bill Rule, once again, I guess the hurricane just put us off track and we just didn't do nothing. We had a conversation, but we have it going. We just have to get it put on paper and give it to legal so legal could tell us what we got. So we're going to skip that item, move on. Item number 5 is 11th Street and Highway 1 drainage issue update. Greg?
Yeah, we're still waiting on Union Pacific Railroad to review our permit and give us some more feedback on it.
Okay. Greg, I got one question to ask you also is that I drove through White Castle this weekend, and the railroad company put 3 big old covers across the railroad track by the sugar mill up there. And I'd like to see if we can investigate to see what it take to add some extra covers underneath the railroad track in Smoke Bin, because we have that flood issue up there, the water. We only have like 4 or 5 covers up there, huh, Craig?
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, you and Craig can get on that. Just see if y'all can open a communication up with them and see what it would take on that. All right? Okay, we're moving on to item number 6, Bonnie Lane update. And Councilman Oliver Joder, well, I'm going to turn that over down there to Mr. Ron Savard. Ron?
Okay,
Yeah, this your.
This is give you guys a copy. Bonnie Lane's included in that survey that was done, and the map shows all the ditches that were surveyed in those 2 subdivisions there. And Bonnie Lane itself is a pretty significant figure of somewhere around the neighborhood of $150,000. But the whole project as a whole is about $640,000. Now this is a total upgrade from infrastructure throughout both subdivisions, removal of small culverts and upgrading to what the engineer says. Some instances almost double the capacity of what's currently there. So it's a large upgrade. If the entities come together and do this and agree to do this, I do believe that this whole project would probably have to go out for public bid. Yes. And someone would have to actually, outside firm, be awarded the contract if budget is approved and that process happens. So I guess that's in conjunction with what we come up with the agreement with the city.
Okay. All right. I see Mr. I can't think of his name. Melvin. Mr. Melvin's out there, and I know he had one concern. And Melvin, we were just talking about that Bonnie Lane, that Bonnie street right there. If you did hear him, just to correct that street in your neighborhood that where you had flooding at, to do the north end and the south end, both of them, would cost about $140,000. That's upgrading the ditches on both sides and putting the drainage. You know, I know that's one of your concern on that, but I also know you had that one concern about that one culvert, correct? All right. And Craig or Ron, Craig, you know that culvert that we've been behind that little store there, and
It's actually called in that survey. I
uh-huh.
can show you after the meeting,
But I guess what he
talk about it.
is he want to know, if I'm wrong there, Mr. Melvin, tell me, that you want it just dug out, just shoot out for right now, temporary, you know, it's blocked up right now. You don't mind getting to the mic, Mr. Melvin?
Yeah, that culvert is about 95% plugged, and really it's so far down you can't really see exactly where it's at. And they were in that area on McGinnis and St. Philip one day last week doing a little digging, but they didn't have permission to make a few scoops to locate that culvert. So that's where we stand with that part, but just came to hear it with the survey.
Right.
How's that going? And
Well,
yeah.
Ron, once again, that was the agreement that we're trying to work out with the city of Downsonville, but this is the one that we first started off with. And if we can see about just sending somebody out there to scoop that culvert up or shoot it out, at least clean it out, would see if it would impact that area and flooding too. I don't know if you know about it yet, Greg, but that's one of those issues.
all right,
You-
We'll
thank-
certainly look at it.
That's behind that store, you remember?
Oh, I know exactly where it's
Yeah.
at. Like I said, the profile of the survey shows exactly what he's saying.
Right.
No doubt, we're not denying that what he's saying is fact. So we'll see what direction we get going on that next week.
Okay.
And, hey, we get proper authority to back us on going and do that. I don't have a problem doing it, but we need Bill Rue to authorize us to do so.
All right.
Yeah, I see what you're talking
But just, once again, thanks. This is, I think we did the study. We got another study on that. We got a cost estimate on, about a health unit is $207,000.
Yes, sir.
And so right now, just for those two projects, we're talking about close to $1 million.
And then I think, correct me if I'm wrong, O'Neill, but I think Catawba Street being over 200,000, that would have to go out for bid as well.
Yes.
And once again, so, I mean, we got to have I think this our last one we have, or we got one more?
You had asked me about Barcelona.
Barcelona, that's
They're
right.
still drafting that one. I haven't
Okay.
gotten a plan to cost it out yet.
So once we do Barcelona, then we'll sit down with the city with a total grand price and see what we're gonna do,
That's right.
okay? Any other question or anybody? All right. Moving on to item number 7, Highway 18, Highway 3120 drainage issue update. Greg, Mr. Greg, first one up.
I've got an email from Aaron Ellisar,
Uh-huh.
and they got the permit sent to the specialist for DOTD, and they're reviewing it. The state is reviewing their permit, and as soon as that's all complete, they're talking about buying the culverts and trying to get started on the job.
Bill, you got any question on that?
No.
Cool, all right. Moving on to item number 8, West Ascension Master Drainage Plan. Mr. Bill Rue not here, so there's no update on that one there unless, Ron, you got any input?
On the drainage plan?
Master Drainage Plan?
Yes, we did get with the technology department. They were able to fly the drone. We had a lot of wet conditions, and they have to stay so many feet from the drone while it's flying. So we did run into obstacles throughout the month with the heavy rain event we had. But we were successful in flying Napoleon from Highway 70 all the way back to the turf farm. So we do have that footage. Coincidentally, while they were there, we did catch the grass cutting crews mowing Napoleon while we were videoing. So we do have a lot of good footage. The condition of the canal looked well, but that footage is available for you guys if you prefer to come see what it looks like.
Ron, I guess, when y'all do, the rest of those canals, and then what I'm saying, can we put a footage together, a little tape where we can put it on channel 21 that they can see basically what we do over here, Craig and y'all crew do, all the area y'all cut and everything, and what it look like?
Yeah, I think we had talked about that, and the technology here was kind of, it wouldn't have been a very good footage the way they'd have to produce it for you guys to see here.
Mhm.
But they do have the capabilities of doing that, I believe.
Well, yeah, I'm just looking for a little short film that they can put on there and just show the West Bank drainage canals and how they look and everything.
Sure.
Okay? All right, item number 9, St. James Assumption Drainage Update. Mr. Thomas Pierce.
T. Baker Smith spoke with the Corps, and as of their last conversation this week, the information that was submitted to them, the H&H study, updated permit drawings, and the needs justification, was still under review by the Corps team, and no additional information, and they told T. Baker no additional information is needed at this time. And but they had a comment from the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries was received regarding the whether or not the parish would need to acquire right of way for the servitudes from the private landowners in the parish over there for the spoil placement. And T. Baker Smith responded with a yes, and the parish needs, that they need to acquire servitude for the access and egress in the spoil placement areas during construction. And T. Baker Smith is going to check back with the analysts next week and apprise us of any new requests that may be generated by any of the agencies. Also, you had asked to set up a meeting with the 3 parishes involved, and I did that, and we will have a meeting September the 11th at 3 p.m. in St. James, who is the applicant in this Bayou-Napoleon, Bayou-Verret project.
All right.
That's it.
You got any question?
No.
All right.
Did we make sure the right police juror is going to be there?
Well,
They
Moose?
mentioned that Henry Daigle,
If he's not going to be there, it's his district.
they mentioned that Henry Dupree in an email with, that's what the president mentioned, that he was let him know to be there. And that's on the assumption end.
All right. Moving on to item number 10, drainage issue along Highway 1. I think we took care of that, huh?
Yeah, the one that we had our request, they did.
All right. I know we're gonna have to put another request, because I know on the north end I had some people complain about it, so we're gonna take this off till we put the request in with the state. All right? Ms. Peggy, you can remove this in here. All right? Item number 11, sandbagging machine. I know we put a quote on it, and
I did call Chris and find out if what we have is the latest and greatest or what's going on, but surrounding parishes are actually buying them now, and the units that we have are a little bit upgraded, but they're basically the same units that we have now,
Okay.
and that's the most efficient on the market at the time, at this time. So next year, that's the units that we're looking at purchasing.
right, and we budget for it right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're also
Yes.
looking for the city of Downsville to put a big
Actually,
portion.
we looked at the last rain event a couple weeks back, and we looked at the old barn that we used to have. It's actually set up nicely where if we do a little work there, we can set it up for where the public can drive through one end, go get their bags, and go out the other end. So we know that building takes on some water because it's low elevation there. We're going to do some work in there with building the floor up with some dirt, and then building a drive through there, and then actually storing the sandbags in that building. It can hold more than the 2 cans that we have now. So that would be a centralized place that both the city and the parish can, in a rain event, get sandbags and not be in the weather loading them up. So we're going to look at moving that forward in the months to come.
Sound good? All right. Moving on to item number 12, reports. Mr. Ron Savoy, do you have any other?
No, we covered it.
All right. Greg, Mr. Greg, do you have any other input?
No, sir, not at the time.
All right. Mr. Craig Anderson, do you have anything?
This just, we're doing, cleaning a right-of-way and a smoke bin right now. Then they working on getting some right-of-ways for a couple of places in Modas. And, they're trying to get some people to sign something to do on Gotro Road too, a back ditch for them.
Okay.
And we doing a little digging in Modas too, with our other couple of them.
All right. Mr. Thomas Pierce. You good? Mr. Bill Dawson.
I don't have anything.
All right. I have one question. We know we've been advertising the phone number to call this office on the West Bank, and I know we implemented the new customer service. Or yeah, go ahead.
It's under pilot.
Oh, so it's not parish-wide, it's just
Yes.
a certain area. Okay. All right. So the number we have right now for the West Bank is still, you call
Yes.
Miss Heather
Yes, sir.
and give them that information. Okay, good. I just want to make sure of that. All right. Moving on to item number 13.
October
Move it.
5th.
Ms. Peggy? October 5th, okay. All right, 5:15. And I guess Mr. Bill,
Move to adjourn.
second? Meeting adjourned.